Welcome to the agenda with me, Lasha Kingsley in Douala, Cameroon. On today's edition of the program, we are discussing the credibility of some 20 women leaders who recently wrote to the International Monetary Fund asking the said institution to block loans that were about to be granted to the Republic of Cameroon despite the ongoing COVID gate in the country. We shall equally revisit the separate decrees signed by President Paul Biya recently appointing public independent conciliators for the northwest and southwest regions of the country. And today we are glad to have with us CHOU Waters, who is an assistant lecturer at the University of Yaoundé 2 SWA. Thank you for joining us. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. CHOU Waters, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the program. This is your very first time to be part of this edition or to be part of this program, The Agenda. Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
The pleasure is mine. I want to thank you for the invitation. You know, I live very far, and for me to accept an invitation with my tight schedule is not easy, and I deemed it necessary to be with you this evening. I greet your televiewers and the boss of this station.
Thank you so much, sir. This is the very first time, like I earlier mentioned, to be part of this edition of the program. It is always tradition for our guests to briefly walk us through their professional, educational backgrounds.
Yeah, let me first of all start by greeting my people who are in the northwest and the southwest. I know it's not easy, you watching us from there. So many gunshots nearly every day, people who are falling. And we are really sorry, and just be patient. Very soon everything will be okay. I want you to greet some 15 corpses of babies that are abandoned in L'Hôpital de la Caisse in Yaoundé because there was no money while the ministers have embezzled some COVID-19 money. So my background, academically, I am a PhD student graduating next month on the 4th of July 2021, an assistant lecturer, PhD in management sciences, and assistant lecturer at the University of Yaoundé 2 SWA. I had been part-time lecturer at the University of Bamenda teaching business communication, and so I'm teaching analytical accounting. I'm a public relations officer of Grow Cameroon, and I'm a consultant in international securities, like the one in Cameroon that has conflicts.
Okay, thank you so much. That's quite a rich background, so the CV there. Let's begin with this news that had made headlines in Cameroon a few weeks back. I'm talking about the 20 Cameroonian women leaders who decided to write to the International Monetary Fund. The women were led by Edith Kawala of the CPP political party. They wrote to the International Monetary Fund and the United Nations Security Council. They wanted the UN Security Council to intervene in the conflicts in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, and also the International Monetary Fund to block or to halt loans that were about to be granted to Cameroon. What do you have to say about this move taken by these Cameroonian women?
Well, when you read the works of Michel Crozet, who wrote about the actor and the system, you will understand that between the actor and the system, there are relationships between opposition parties and the party that is on power. The influence is reciprocal, but it depends on the context of democracy. When you are in a representative democracy, your voices can be heard. When you are in a centralized system where powers come from one region or one province, your voices of the voiceless, carried by opposition parties, civil society, and NGOs, will never be heard. The only thing that can be done can be a revolution like the one that happened in Algeria, for people to get up and say enough is enough, we want a change. when you go to a system that one person handles the budget, one person handles the power, he appoints everybody, it becomes now what we call the central bureaucracy. And the only adjective that we can give there is dictatorship, what some other people always say dictatorship, because one person holds power. Then, when you look at the actor and the system, in the system now, we have the citizens, we have social structures, we have political structures, we have economic structures. The actor is the regime, because the regime is the one that influenced the system the regime has put in place. Then here, I'm taking the element of a political structure where we have some women who are political leaders who have written a document and sent to the UN.
Yes.
If you look critically at that angle, you discover that who are those women? Who do they represent? What are their results since they came into politics? Because a political party has an objective as to take power, conquer power, and preserve it. And the political party has what we call a societal project. You need to have an ideology that you can sell to the citizens. What were the ideologies? Were they sold? Was there any results? That is where we judge who are the women. At the top,
Tumaino Damjoya is one of those women.
I will be moving from one to another, just the first people.
Yes.
Because you know, in science, when you carry what we call a scientific methodology, there are steps, there are methods, there is what we call problematic, you have results, and then general conclusion.
Yes.
When you take what is the problematic from these women, the problematic is what? We have the COVID-19 funds, the people should be punished. We have the Anglophone crisis that should be taken by the UN, that's the problematic. Then, what is the methodology? The methodology is the way they are doing it. The way they are doing it is that they have written a document, they have put online for people to sign. And then, what are the steps that, or the strategies that they are using? The strategy they are using is that they are using the social media to influence the government.
No, but they wrote directly, it was an open letter.
I heard one of the leaders said,
yes,
the platform is online. People should go and sign. That is already social media apart from putting it to public. And the person said it was Madame Kawala, who is the leader of CPP, Stand Up for Cameroon. At times she's acting for civil society. Madame Kawala, as I know, personally, does not have any member of parliament. She does not have a senator. She doesn't have a council. She doesn't have a councillor. And then when you represent the people, you can carry their voice.
No, but she has a civil society,
what?
An NGO.
When you have an NGO, there is what we call the outcomes. What is the output of the NGO that has been installed in Cameroon? Because the output of my NGO, Grow Cameroon, we have employed more than 5,000 Cameroonians. We are based in Yaoundé. We have created employments. If you are an NGO, you are a civil society, we need to see results. If you are fighting for the bad governance, we need to change the bad governance. So, Madam Kawala here, when she takes campaign money, she will fuel all the bikes around the town. They will be running around quarters. They will run serial quarters, and the rest of the money she will pocket. Please, I take responsibility of my declaration because I have been in the Northwest when she used to come and do campaign.
Okay.
When you take Tumaino Damjoya, she is a courageous, Kawala is a courageous woman, but just that her voice cannot be heard in a dictatorial regime like the one in Cameroon. Tumaino Damjoya too, she has electees in the assembly, in the senate, councils, and so on. She is credible, but her voice cannot be heard. Kawala is not credible, but her voice can never be heard because we are in a dictatorial regime. Alice Com, we've heard so many issues about her project, societal projects, NGOs. She's a courageous woman. I respect her so much. But
fighting for
realizations, fighting for a bad governance.
Homosexuals in Cameroon that
yes,
banned by the law. Is that what you are telling us?
Section 347 condemns homosexualities in Cameroon. But do you know that some of our leaders are homosexual and they block youths not to reach where they are going because they are homosexual? Some of them involved into bloodsuckers sect. When you take Alice Com, I don't have anything concerning her, but the fact is that since independence, she has been fighting for a change in Cameroon up to now. We have not seen where we are going. Brief to summarize, I doubt their credibility. Their voices can never be heard in a dictatorial regime like the one in Cameroon centralized system because the government controls, CBDM control everything. and the rest of the women that.
So are you saying that the action they took was not
they
a good one?
They took a very good action, but in a very wrong country.
And you see, recently the parliament.
And as I told you, we are here to come to the problematic.
Yes.
The funds and then the COVID-19. Who is to talk about the armed phone crisis? Who should be credible in front of the UN Security Council?
Is she not a citizen of this
country? Who should be credible in front of International Monetary Fund? No, there are people who play that role. If you are not credible enough to play the role, you leave it to those who can do the role. That's why it's worsening.
Who are those who can play the role?
Politicians can play the role, but we have politicians that are not serious. That is the issue.
But are you saying that with the recent, as I told you earlier, you know the parliament has just empowered the government of Cameroon to borrow an additional 1,000 billion francs CFA in loans to carry out major developmental projects and other stuff in the country despite COVID gate. So are you saying that everybody should fold their arms and watch the government keep borrowing money and people put the monies into their private pockets? Is that what they are saying?
Let me correct something. We do not borrow 1,000 billion. We have to pay 1,000 billion within 1 year according to engagements that we took from our lenders, and the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is just a regulator. When you read the decree of 7 June 2021, where the President probably rectified budget, I know that budget is just provisionary expenditures and the revenue that we have to carry in the country within a given period of time. So the President probably asked that 565 billion francs should be added, and that is why taxes have been increased. And when taxes are increased, subsidies drop with subventions. Then passport that we are going to, that the prices have left
increased.
From an increase in taxes through passports and other license. We have patterns and so on.
Yes.
And then that money will come from those areas. Will rest up to 565. The budget has been increased too, and we will reach the target now to gather the 1,000 billion to go and pay. But that is not our problem. Our problem is that we have more than 14,000 billion debts that we have since
how do we get the debt? How do we get the
in
debt?
2006. When you know that IMF, International Monetary Fund, has 3 missions. The mission to advise you how to manage your budget. The second mission is to accompany you. Then the third is to do what we call structural adjustment in economic policy. And when you have structural adjustments, they are warning you that your debts are already much, so go and pay. They came into Cameroon in 1996 to 2006. They were just there for advice. And when we were leaving 2006, Cameroon was having 1,000 billion francs as the only debt to pay. Then 2010 to 2017, our debts were already moving from 5,000 billion, 8,000 billion, 9,000 billion, 10,000 billion. And then to 2017 now, IMF now came back and said we will do structural adjustment.
So where did these women go wrong by writing
the
this?
Problem,
Where did they go wrong?
The problem is the project carrier.
So if you Cameroonians are sleeping, people are standing up to their rights to fight for good life for Cameroonians, we keep blaming them.
I have a problem in Cameroon now. When you need money or you want an appointment, you should put up something that can draw the attention of people, so that journalists will receive you. You will talk to the President of the Republic, and after they will call you at the presidency and give you some coins or some banknotes. Remember the 7 political parties that gathered recently in Yaoundé?
Yes.
2 of them were received at the presidency. Up to now, we have not heard where they have gone with the project. It's not the first time we are seeing Kawala, Aliscom, and the rest doing all this wahala, that this issue that they are coming up with. The fact is that create something in Cameroon and you have a job, you have money. And
okay.
I'm strongly against that.
What is the bottom line before we get to our next topic of discussion? What is the bottom line? Let's conclude. What do you have to say concerning the letters that these women wrote?
I give them courage. I wish them good luck. They should change their strategies, but I doubt their credibility from what they have been doing before. If they can change their deeds, their bad deeds that they have done before, and they ameliorate their strategies, I think they will draw the attention of the UN National Security Council. I just encourage and I wish them good luck, but I doubt whether they will have results.
Okay, recently we've seen this movement that emanated, is much talked about on the social media, other media platforms in the country. We are talking about the eldest son to the President of the Republic of Cameroon, that some people have formed a group trying to, push for him to stand as a candidate. at the 2025 presidential elections in the country?
There is what we call myths and reality. The myths behind the movement is to blindfold Cameroonians that something has been installed to talk about peace and unity. The reality is that power wants to change hand and they're already preparing somebody to take over. Basically, right now, the presidency, there is division between people from Nangai Boko in the central region and people from Vomeka in the south region. People from Vomeka is the president's village. People from Nangai Boko is Fetinangongo's village, because they have a clash with those two clans and something is created to prepare for the next coming. That is the reality.
Yes.
About the movement, I think I was caught up when I resigned from the Popular Action Party, the national party.
Now you have this record of resignation and resigning from one political party. What is your problem? Moving from one party to the other.
My problem is that people are dying in the northwest and in the southwest, and going to war in a political party, I don't see how it will help them, because political parties in Cameroon do what we call party. They do party politics just for their mouth. They don't do it for the citizens.
Let's talk about the movement that you were contacted.
Yes, before the movement, I think I left all those parties when this crisis started in Bamenda. I was with Mancho, BBC, Pen Teresa, and Kalim Felix. I have refused to join the Covenant Revolution. I have not signed any Ambazonian movement, because I am out here to sensitize Cameroon to solve the issue that I know.
Okay.
About the movement. That is why I have left party. I've been in CDU of Adamu Damjoya. I've been the late Adamu Damjoya. I've been in Popular Action Party. I've been in APA of Celestin Jama. He said
which is just a newly created political party.
They recruited me there to be a secretary general. I objected, and I renounced my position. Why I resigned from all those is because they need me in the northwest and the southwest. Don't ask me who. About the movement.
Okay, go ahead.
The movement contacted me and told me that the president is in US. One Mohamed Rahim Neme, he's the president of Frankist movement in the United States of America. He contacted me through WhatsApp. He said I'm a brilliant somebody. He wants to work with me. He has been watching my debate since 2017. We need to have a meeting. We went to Bastos. There in Bastos, we have representatives like the Secretary General of the Frankist movement. He's working as Kameko in Yaoundé, and the Secretary General in charge of communication journalists. And then with some people, we were in a private home in Bastos, where I saw on the walls pictures of the families of the President of the Republic. We had a meeting. Not to expatiate, I will just summarize what they told me in that meeting with what I know about Cameroon and the northwest and the southwest did not suit me, and that is why I resigned.
So is there another move?
I renounced my position, and we left that Bastos.
Okay. So why is it that those individuals are pushing so hard for the Edison? Is he even interested in standing?
Yes, he's interested.
But he's never been in active politics. So how is he going to achieve?
He's interested, but he wants to transform the presidency like a monarchy. Because when you take the case of Omar Bongo Ali Bongo, he has a profile. Ali Bongo has a profile, and that's why he has been put president. You go to Fonya Simbe in Togo, he took from his power. Joseph Kabila from Joseph Kabila Desiré. You go to Obiangema in Guinea Equatorial. You discover there's the same issue. You go to Chad, you see Mahamat Idris Deby. From Idris Deby in North, led Idris Deby in North. It's a culture of Francophones country colonized by France to give power to the son. But the case of Cameroon is very particular because the son does not have a profile in politics. He has never been a leader.
But he is a Cameroonian, which means that he got the right to run as a president.
He can't be the president of Cameroon when you look at it as from his curriculum vitae, politically.
So what if Cameroonians are
he can be a candidate invested by a political party that has members.
What if Cameroonians are accepting? What if Cameroonians vote for him?
If Cameroonians vote for him, I don't think he will stay there because he does not have what we call the competence. The competence to really handle Cameroon. Cameroon is boiling water. Cameroon is a violent country, and you cannot put anybody to handle Cameroon.
So it means that probably needs to be congratulated so far.
No, I'm not giving congratulations to President Pobia. I'm instead say that for past 40 years, we've instead had the worst president. Because we have prostitutes who are out there, we have thieves, we have employers that are attending all the universities and all secondary schools. We have the economy that is growing, the number of population is increasing geometrically, but the rate of development is increasing arithmetically. And so it is instead a paradox for me to say that President Pombe is a good president, because we have not said that he doesn't have good points. He has good points and he has bad points, but his bad points are more than good points. When we look at the fundamental crisis in the country.
Is it really the problem? Don't you think the problem is Cameroonians? When he sits at A2D, does he tell the people who are embezzling money, like for example the COVID funds, the 180 billion?
He is responsible because he is the captain of the boat, and if the boat subsides, he should be blamed.
Recently, we had Famindongo grilled at the military tribunal in Yaoundé. He says that the 6 billion he's being accused of mismanaging has not even reached his office.
Let me tell you that some barons of the regime will not be sent to prison because they have been raised to ministers of state. We have Famindongo, we have Laurent, so we have Ferdinand Gongo, and others. They have been raised to the rank of ministers of state. Minister of state is a minister for life. Even if you leave the government, your salary will still be increasing. And in the Central Committee of CBDM, he's the National Secretary in charge of communication. Do you think that I'm the president of the party and they said that you've stolen money? Will I be struggling to send you to prison when you are the secretary of communication? You can communicate badly for the party and it affects me. So what he said is just drawing attention to people, because I have some ministers who did not even go to the audit bench. And remember that the audit bench of the Supreme Court
Atanganji did not go.
Atanganji did not go, but he said that he has used some and has given back the rest to the Minister of Finance. They should go and check there. Me, I'm not here to judge Minister Atanganji. I'm not here to judge Famdong. I'm not here to judge Manoda Malashi. I'm simply doing analysis that normally in a country, democratic country, when they call you at the court, they need to first of all sack people from the government. They would have supposed to have been resigned before they go to the court.
But in Cameroon, we don't have the culture of resignation.
So it is that difficult. It's that difficulty that they have that old habit never to resign, that they will not go to court because they even went to his ministry. So it put into difficulty the work of the audit bench. And we don't have separation of powers. Famdongo is from the executive. The judiciary from the audit bench is from the judiciary.
No, but it's the presidency that ordered for the investigation, and the presidency that ordered for the investigation. So you cannot be talking about
the president ordered for the investigation. Why is that some people went and other people did not go, and the presidency is quiet? And we know that Article 10 of the Constitution, sub 2 shows that the president of the Republic can delegate his powers. He can delegate his powers to the Prime Minister and to the Secretary General. And so when the presidency speaks like that, the powers have been given to Ferdinand Gongo, and Ferdinand Gongo said that the presidency said, we don't know, it's a relative format, we don't know whether high instruction, we govern from high instruction. So brief, we don't have time, but I want to tell you that about the audition that is taking place at the audit bench. Some of the ministers, they are with the system and they know who they will sacrifice. So for a minister to go and a minister not to go, you just have to understand that they are playing some logics there.
Okay, and let's stay within the presidency of the Republic of Cameroon. Recently, President Pobia signed 2 separate decrees appointing the independent conciliators for the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. And the persons who are coming to fit into those shoes, waters, apparently they are not known when it comes to the political landscape of Cameroon, especially in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
As a university done, I think they are not known, but in strategic management, I think that we judge people at their job site. And
this is coming to complete a special status, eh?
I'm coming to that. I'm just wait a minute. The independent conciliator, Anthony Fay and Dorothy Atambong, I've never heard about them when this crisis started. I've never heard about them about the socio-political crisis in other regions. I've never heard about them about Boko Haram. I doubt their credibility because we don't know where they have taken them and appointed. Informations are coming that it is the Secretary General of the presidency that appointed them. We don't know what it takes to be an independent conciliator. I said informations from social media gather that is
No,
the
but
Secretary
there's a
General, Minister
text
of
President Paul Biya signed other
Yes.
decrees
Then,
long before.
there is a problem.
Outlining
There is a problem.
their rules. Okay.
There is a problem. The diagnosis that the Cameroon has used is decentralization. That is why the law number 2019/024 of 24th December 2019 put down the General Code, institute the General Code of Decentralization to local and regional authorities. They said that they appointed the independent conciliator because they went to the Great National Dialogue,
Okay.
of which Anglophones were asking for negotiations, because when separatist leaders, those who are fighting to restore the former set of British Southern Cameroon, are asking for independence, the government told them that let's go for decentralization. They came to the Great National Dialogue. They held some federalists and locked them up. When we came for the Great National Dialogue, they proposed federalism. They brought us special status. And why the special status? Section 62 of the Constitution said that the aforementioned rules and regulations shall apply to all regions. Section 2 of Section 62 of Constitution 996. Without prejudice to the provision of this part, the law may take into consideration the specificity of certain regions with regard to their organization and functioning. That is where they drew that special status.
Okay.
And then, why is it that they did not read Section 68 of that same Constitution, which says that the legislation applicable in the federal state of Cameroon and in the federal state on the date of entity into force of this constitution shall remain in force insofar as it is not repugnant to this constitution and as long as it is not amended by subsequent laws and regulations. There is a paradox here, because you cannot go to the Great National Dialogue and you read Section 62 of the Constitution that they will give special status to people, and you said they will benefit. It is our right. We are not benefiting because it is our right.
Yes.
You do understand what I mean? When we go to the 994th plenary meeting of 24th April 1961, where the UN came to represent, to administer the Union Treaty between the government of Southern Cameroon, that is Resolution 1608, Section 5.
Yes.
The East Cameroon, that's French Cameroon, and then the Great Britain that were there. This Union Treaty, we were to discuss it because they say invite the administering authority, the government of Southern Cameroon and the Republic of Cameroon to initiate urgent discussion in a view to finalize before 1st October 1961. That was not done, and that is where the Anglophone problem came. So why am I doing all this comparison? Because the government is playing bad faith. They did a monologue and they call it a dialogue. You cannot go and you select Section 62 and you hide 68 from Anglophone. This is federation that they are talking there, which means that we can still discuss federation in Cameroon.
Okay.
The special status itself, when you go to the Section 2 of the Constitution, what are they saying? Section 2 of the Constitution says the local authorities of the Republic of Cameroon shall be regions and council. And when you go to Section 3, where they talk about the special status, I mean the law of 2019/024 of 24th December 2019. Section 3, the Northwest and Southwest region shall have a special status based on their language specificity and historical heritage. My dear brother, when they talk about special status, when you go to other regions, you discover that we have a common status and not a special status. Because when we talk about historical heritage, it is what we inherited from Great Britain, the indirect role through the chiefs. And Section 47 of the law of 1961, the Federal Republic of Cameroon, we had no choice, or we were not to modify the Constitution of 1972 up to today, and that is where all these rules have been violated. The cultural heritage still is that we have our common law system, where magistrate comes from bar council, where our highest court is the High Court and not the Supreme Court, where magistrate do not come from a school that is trained. The system of education where they've assimilated us. I remember that the late President Kanatumi attended a meeting in Europe, and one president came and said, mon cardinal, bonjour, ici bonjour, vous êtes d'où? Il dit, je suis du Cameroun, I'm coming from Cameroon. He said, okay, nous sommes très fiers que vous avez assimilé les anglophones. We are very rare that people assimilated anglophone. That was that is our cultural heritage. And to end, you have the legislature. The legislature in the former West Southern Cameroon is not like that now in Cameroon, and it poses a problem of the content of the special status.
Are you telling me that these people who have been appointed, they will not do anything?
I'm coming to them. When you go to status, so they say in Section 328 of the Law of Decentralization Code that they can be consulted in matters of education, economics, and socials. They can be consulted. Section 229. They administers their powers freely. 331 sub 2. The same powers that they have is the same that the other regions. Take the regional assembly.
So there is nothing like special status.
There's nothing like special status. That's why I am simply undressing the special status to show it's a common status. When you take section 331 sub 2, they said the same powers are in other regions, in other regional council. My dear brother, in constitutional law, they vote as an assembly votes laws. They don't deliberate. They are not consulted. And they have 20 chiefs and 7 elected. In regional council have 20 chiefs, 7 elected. That's 1990. The independent conciliator, that is in section 367, they said that they have 2 things to manage. They are there that the public independent conciliator in the northwest and the southwest shall be responsible for examining and amicably settling disputes between users and regional council administrators. My dear brother, this is the work of judicial police. Designing and implementing measures to prevent and combat direct and indirect discrimination that may affect users in regional council. So independent conciliators, practically they have nothing to do because they are useless, and the dictatorial regime have appointed people who are not known in the northwest and the southwest, and elite is the main problem. So I condemned the special status that's a common status, and the independent conciliator have no use. So we should go for serious negotiation now and end the battle.
Thank you so much, CHOU Waters, for being guest on today's edition of
I'm the one thanking you.
You're welcome, sir.
The pleasure is mine.